of variables to juggle here for the cheapskates' perfect arrival. Well, we're in the anchorage, and I think anchorage is really quite a generous word for it today.
The weather got worse and this massive southerly swell is coming in, so we were on a lee shore.
Well, goodbye to Mazatlan. We had a fantastic time here, really enjoyed being in the city and being back in civilization again, I guess. We are headed 85 miles south to Isla Isabel, and really looking forward to going there. This is one of the hidden gems down the Pacific Mexican coast. It's basically the Galapagos Islands of Mexico.
Well, if the wind stayed like this for the next 20 hours, I would be happy bunny. I'm definitely better prepared for this passage. Dinner is semi-pre-cooked and sandwiches ready for later on. Now we can go!
The passage is 85 miles. We're going to do it as an overnighter because we have quite light winds. We just need to average just under 5 knots. And we should be there in about 18 to 20 hours, so just as the sun starts to rise over the islands. Unfortunately tonight we don't have any moon. The stars didn't align, let's say, and we're going to be doing it in the dark, unfortunately.
I'm just reading about Isla Isabel. It looks wonderful, but the anchorage doesn't sound that good. Anchoring is on rocks, and this anchorage has swallowed more anchors than any other anchorage in the Pacific Mexico. So let's hope that A, we're gonna manage to anchor okay, and B, that our trip line is actually going to work, because I'm not diving in to free it. It's quite deep as well. It ranges from 30 to 45 feet. Yeah, so it's gonna be captain's job. Definitely captain's job. This is not housekeeping, is it?
Front of house.
Yeah, front of house. Yes. Got a problem. The anchor is stuck. Yeah, definitely not front of the house. Should be fun.
Winds were light and the sailing so easy that the captain found himself rummaging around in the galley while the first mate took a rare break. I've been slaving away for hours making these. Just 2 slices of bread with a bit of lettuce and some cheese in the middle. I think it's going to be big. There you go. What I did was, right, put a bit of butter on it and then just flipped it over so the filling is kind of in the middle. I should be allowed in the galley more often.
What would I do without him, huh? He's so clever, isn't he? It's typical. The day when you actually want to catch fish, because it's not howling crazy and you're not going 9 knots, and there's no fish. Pay you any money that next time there is a raging sea around us and we're going in 25 knot of winds, there's going to be 3 Dorados on my lines. Well, it is what it is. Luckily I'm pre-cooked.
Fish fingers from the freezer tonight then.
Oh, I wish I had fish fingers. Haven't had those for ages. Uh-oh. Speed on ground 7.5. We were planning our journey with the average speed of 5 knots an hour, and that will get us to arrive at 7 AM, just when the sun is coming out. So if we keep going this fast, I think we're gonna arrive around 4 AM or even earlier than that. So for once, I think we need to slow down.
Too much wind. I'm sure it'll calm down later.
I didn't catch any fish. They obviously migrated down south. They're not here anymore. It's too cold for them. And I'm gonna take my lure in. I don't want to be fishing when it gets dark.
I knew it would be dinner from the cupboard this evening. As the sun began to set, the winds backed and we decided to put out the whisker pole, enabling us to go dead downwind overnight. We liked this setup for a downwind passage as long as seas are calm, as it allows one person to comfortably handle the boat, including reefing if needed, without disturbing Sleeping Beauty down below. Always such a faff getting this trimmed exactly right with the whisker pole out. But hopefully once we've spent all the time and effort doing it, then the wind is not going to change, and neither is our course. At least that's what I keep telling myself. It's not too bad. That'll do for now.
Beautiful sunset tonight. Never get tired of that. But you get tired of the swell very quickly, let me tell you that.
Too fast still. I think the wind's going to calm down a bit. We've made great progress. Unfortunately, we'll be arriving at like 3 AM if this keeps up, so I'm really hoping the wind is going to die, and we'll have just made the most of it while we had it, and then we won't need to motor too long. So there's a lot of variables to juggle here for the cheapskate's perfect arrival, which I'm planning.
Last sail trim of the sail. It's 6:30 in the morning and we are in the vicinity of the island. We had to go kind of into the ocean a bit more because we were here way too early. So we were just plodding around and waiting for the sun to rise. So now it's coming up and we are heading for the anchorage.
Can't wait to be there and be in bed.
Frigate birds from the island came to check out the new arrivals as we got closer. Approaching this notorious anchorage, we tied a tripline to the front of our anchor so that we could pull it free if it got stuck under one of the island's many rocks.
We dropped the anchor with the trip line on, which is just over there. It's a bit uncomfortable anchorage, to be honest. We've got massive breaking swells over there. So we just need to hope that the weather is calm. We definitely need to deploy the stern anchor right now because we need to be pointing into the swell.
Well, we're in the anchorage, and I think anchorage is really quite a generous word for it today. The surge is just rolling around both ends. There's two little reefs and it's just like charging across them. But it's quite spectacular. We've got a front row seat to all of the action. Crashing waves all around us and birds, hundreds of birds in the air above us. I'm a bit nervous about where we've dropped the hook, just because there's so much going on here. The bottom is really bad holding. It's super rocky. and so this is notorious for a notorious spot for people losing their anchors or having the rope anchor rod chafed through on a rock. We've set trip lines, we've set the stern anchor to stop us from spinning around too much. We've got some neighbours over here who we're reasonably close to, so there's a lot happening, and I think I'm just about plucking up the courage to go down below in the warmth, have a nice little shower, and come back to it later.
We woke after a couple of hours sleep to find Bohemia more or less where we left her.
So we have to check two things. The first is the stern anchor. We want to make sure this rope rod is not rubbing and chafing on any rocks, so it's going to survive the night. And we want to make sure that both the bow and the stern anchors are bit securely into something big. Because it's so rocky here, then I'm guessing just a big boulder or something, but something that's not easily going to move out the way is what I'm looking for. Actually, three things. We also want to make sure that we can raise them again when we want to leave without too much drama, hopefully.
We had hoped that the stern anchor would be clear of the rocks. But on diving in, it became clear that we had miscalculated. We were shocked to see just how many rocks our anchor had found, and that the rope rod was starting to chafe through while we slept. We tried to pull the rope tight to lift it from the seabed and clear it from the worst of the chafe spots.
Get it all tight now, all the way tight. Stern anchor is fixed. Now let's have a look at the bow one.
Sadly, the bow anchor wasn't much better. The only saving grace was that there was no rope to chafe through.
We might dive in tomorrow and have a look again. No easy anchoring in rocks, let me tell you that. Okay, it's not what we've planned. After we've checked the anchors, the weather got worse and this massive southerly swell is coming in, so we were on a lee shore. So we had to release the stern anchor, and now as we start swinging, our chain wrapped around a massive rock. So Tommy's out there freeing it. Yeah, there's a smashing waves on the cliffs and we were so close to it, so I think this is for the best.
This is probably the most challenging anchoring we've ever done. The stern anchor is back on the boat, as you may have noticed. It really wasn't giving us much benefit in the end when the wind picked up. The anchor rod, the rope portion of this, was just like looping under a rock and then pulling tight in the tidal surge. So it's only a matter of time before that chafed through. And then we swung around when I took this up, and our chain on the front, on the bow, has been catching on every boulder down there. So it's just kind of scraped the floor for all the boulders. And I had to dive down like 3 or 4 times and just pick it up over the top and let us swing back. So we're now hanging off our anchor only and not too many boulders. But our anchor is not well set, so we still need to keep an eye on it, I think, into the evening and set a close anchor alarm.
Cold?
I am cold actually, yeah. Could you tell? How are the tropics working out for you?
Time to make that hot cocoa again, I think.
Despite all the challenges of this anchorage, we were also treated to one of the most spectacular sunsets we have ever seen.
Just saying, we don't do badly for sunsets on Bohemia. Beautiful, huh?
Join us next time on Sailing Bohemia, where we check out this amazing island and its curious inhabitants. And we raise the sails for a gentle jaunt to the Mexican mainland.
That should help.
Special thanks in this episode go to our latest patrons for their generous support in keeping Bohemia's crew sailing 3 sheets to the wind. Thank you to Jerry from Canada, who loves the Sea of Cortez. And thank you to our longtime follower, Michael from Fort Lauderdale, who lives on his Meridian motor yacht. Thank you all so much, and here's to you. If you enjoyed this episode, then please don't forget to tell YouTube all about it by commenting, liking, and sharing. See you next time.